Greetings from Stephen G. Studios here in Old Towne Petersburg. I thought it was about time that I talked about the Postcards of Petersburg project. What better way to do that is then with the introduction of some new postcard signs. I was able to get another grant to help fund the production of new signs and to replace some that were destroyed or stolen. So what I'm going to do here today is open the box. I haven't seen them yet. The last time I saw them when I uploaded the files to the printer. So here we go. Enjoy. So these are aluminum signs printed for exterior use. They're also anti-graffiti, although thankfully I've not had that problem. But storm damage and then just outright theft has been the biggest issue I've had with these signs. In terms of the theft, I don't even know if I should take that as a sign that people like these so much they're willing to steal one. The sad part was it was right outside of City Hall. So not much security going on there. This is a new one. This has always fascinated me, the Stratford Motel. There's nothing there now. The corner of Bolingbrook and right at the Martin Luther King Bridge, there's a car wash there that's no longer used, it's empty. But there was this hotel, and it had quite a history as well. And during this time, you wouldn't recognize Petersburg if you went back in time. There were so many buildings in the city, unlike it is now. Most of them are gone. But during this time, a lot of buildings, a lot of brick buildings throughout the city. And this one was around for a long time. I'll have to do an episode about the Stratford Motel. But anyway, I'm excited about this one. And here we have a replacement. So this is Sycamore Street. Of course, I had a much larger version of this that was up, and the storm ripped it off of the posts, and then someone stole it, what was left of it. I don't know if I could have recovered it and got it back up. Someone who saw it said it would look pretty bad, but anyway, it's gone. And now this is the replacement. I thought it'd be easier for me to secure the smaller signs. I've got an idea. I think I'm going to use a concrete board as a backer, and I'm going to use security fasteners so that it's harder to just unscrew them and take them away. And I'm hoping with the concrete backer, it'll be less likely to get blown off of its stand. But anyway, this one is of Sycamore Street, and the Dixie Diner is right here. This, on the building here, this cupola that comes out, it's still there. That's how you can recognize the spot. And this is a new one as well. That's Seward Luggage. One of my earlier videos, I took a walk around this area. Almost all of these buildings are gone except for this one here. Fire took out the rest of them, and I think there's a bit of another portion of another building left, but the homes are gone. The railroad tracks that ran through here are gone. But Seward Luggage, I'm excited about this one. And this is a new one as well. So this is Halifax Street. So during segregation, the shopping areas of the whites and the blacks were separate. And so on Halifax Street and New Market, this was where the black folks went for their shopping. They were separated. And I was excited that they did make a postcard of this. So you can show two sides of life here. Thankfully, after segregation was done away with, everything kind of migrated to Old Towne. And then one more box, and it's dented, and I'm hoping there's no damage. And this is new. It's from the original series. I was never able to produce it, but it's of the ACL train station right on Washington Street, long gone. It was actually quite a beautiful building. It was brick. It's odd that they use such colors on this postcard. And then the church here is still there. So the steeple is how you know where this is at. And this will go on the bus station. The bus station is pretty much in the location where this once was, but this was torn down many decades ago. And if you go back through the newspapers in Petersburg, it took them quite a while, and I don't know what the holdup was of tearing up the tracks, all that ran in Washington Street and some of the other streets, but that was an ongoing topic in the Petersburg newspapers for some time. But yeah, there you go. So that's the next phase of the Postcards of Petersburg. I've got quite a bit of work to do. This was the easy part. The hard part is finding a way to mount these so that they can't be easily stolen and that winds will not easily tear them off their installed locations. The bigger signs are a lot harder to deal with because of their size, and they're much, once wind gets behind them, it's almost like a sail because it's thin aluminum. So these smaller signs will be a little bit easier for me to manage and secure. I do have one large one that was torn off by a storm. I was able to recover it. I think I can, it's got some bent corners and some dents, but I think for the most part I can salvage that one and reinstall it. Again, I need to find a better way to attach it to the building so that the winds and storms won't tear it off the building. But by and large, I think I've got a good plan for installing it. It's just going to take some work. But that's the current state of the Postcards of Petersburg. I'm going to show you now footage I took installing the original signs. Even the large mural that I created, it's based off of a postcard, and I do have an actual Postcards of Petersburg sign for the train depot. But to cover a vacant building, the owner wanted to do something to make it look better. So we built that large mural, and it's not a mural as in painted. I took 4x8 sheets of plywood and I took the postcard and I blew it up and had it print basically like the vinyl signs that go up on the big billboards. And I broke it up into 4x8 pieces with enough to fold over the edges of the plywood. And then it came together like a puzzle. And for the most part, I got it pretty close. It was not easy to do. I remember I had to borrow space at another larger studio to put it together. But it was a lot of fun. It was a new experience, and it's really worked out well. I've talked about it, I believe, in episode 1, that it has stood the test of time, and nobody has sprayed graffiti or damaged it in any way. It's even held up against the weather. So I'm very proud of that project, and people enjoy it. It fits so nicely with the Old Towne aesthetic. But enough of me yapping. Now let me go back in time and show you all the history of the Postcards of Petersburg project. So here we are on Sycamore Street. This is during the pandemic, so of course you remember restaurants had to place seating outside, and so for the duration of the pandemic and a little bit afterwards, they actually closed off part of Sycamore Street between Bolingbrook and Bank Street for an area for seating, and it was pretty nice. It was quite popular in the evenings and on the weekends. But here we come towards the building where the mural will be installed. My brother-in-law is helping me to install this. And so you can see the panels there. Those are just 4x8 sheets of plywood that I used, finished plywood. And there's a picture. So you see the panels, 6 total. And that's me. So I pre-drilled the panels, and that's the vinyl print. And it just goes together like a puzzle. My biggest fear was not getting them perfectly aligned, and I think only 2 were just slightly off, but really not very noticeable.
Got it.
And honestly, I had no idea whether this would work, if it would stand up to the extremes of weather and the sun. And it's done a fantastic job. It looks as good as it did the day we installed it, to be honest, and that has really surprised me. Yeah, it was very exciting. It was a fun project. That's the fun part, figuring it out, building it, installing it. And I did, on the left side, I had to extend the image just slightly, so it's not exactly the postcard, just to get the length. A little cheat there, but I don't think anybody will notice. But I thought it turned out great. People seem to like it. And there's a little postcard sign I created just to kind of give some information on that. And then there's my logo I made for the Postcards of Petersburg. And so this is the presentation I made. And Petersburg's interesting because you have road, rail, and river traffic, and it does give you an interesting view into the city's past. And those are all the signs that were part of the initial project. Some of those signs have changed in terms of which postcard we used. Only one business did not want the postcard sign on their building, so we found another location. And there's the actual postcard sign that you'll see installed on the building. And each postcard has a website that talks about restoring the postcards, but not taking away the nostalgic feel and look of the printing style. I'd also like to find out something to do with the messages on the backs of the postcards. They're pretty interesting as well. And so I'll give you a little tour of the installations. That sign there got damaged by the weather and ripped off its posts, and someone took the leftover, what was ever left over of that. This one was damaged. Somebody cut a limb off that tree and let it fall right on the sign, so I've got to repair this sign you see here. But that's 2 signs per post. And that's me installing it. And it's a little high traffic area between some office buildings and a parking lot. But I like this one a lot. But I'm always very disappointed to see a sign when it's damaged. And typically the damage has been done. They've paid no attention or care to the sign being there. I don't know what people are thinking. But it happened with the other sign that actually got ripped off by the weather. They were replacing bricks on the side of the building that were falling off, and they just threw them down on the sign. So the sign got beat up prior to the storm. So it was a bit rough looking, and then of course the wind took it off those posts and someone took it. And then right up the street there, that's Tab Street, had a sign at City Hall, and that was stolen. So that's the only thing that kind of takes away the joy of this project, is when things like that happen. And here we're back to that sign that was lost. And so you can see the building there, it's kind of crumbling, and that building is vacant, and it's not really being taken care of. But at some point, and I think it was city workers, were removing some of the bricks that were coming loose higher up, and they just tossed them down right on top of the sign, bending and denting up the aluminum. And then, of course, like I said, the wind came and ripped it right off those posts. It was quite a bad storm, too. I had another sign get pulled off a little bit from the building, and I had to reattach that. But this is the biggest size of sign that I produced, and the most expensive. So going forward, the signs will be smaller. I don't think they'll be as affected by the wind, and I can secure them better, and the cost is lower. So with lower cost, that means I can produce more signs. But the big signs are nice, and they do catch people's attention. Yeah, and here's another sign. This shows Bolingbroke Street. This sign was also eventually had come off the building. I of course was able to recover this one, and I'm going to try to repair it. It's just bent up. I'll show you some video of it now in its current state, but I think I can get it back in shape. In the distance, most people are from that sign driving on Sycamore Street in Bolingbroke. You won't be able to see the dents and damage to it. And I also cleaned up the area. The weeds had grown up the building, so I took a weed eater and got rid of all the weeds and grass there, and peeled all that off the wall that you see there. But there you go. That's a little history of the Postcards of Petersburg project. I've got the new signs, as you saw. I'll be starting on that project very soon, and I'll, of course, record that and carry you with me on that.